Hi everyone, and welcome to Blog 5 of the Tackle the Feelings Before the Behaviour parenting approach. And today I wanted to do a little blog on how it's okay as parents to make mistakes. Because I think I haven't really said this, and I should have started out with this, because whenever you introduce new things, with everything that's out there, I know that most parents are dealing with a level of overwhelm as is, and you don't want to even engage with something that makes you feel like you're doing something wrong, because parents, I know, and most parents are actually doing the best they can. So I wanted to reassure you and say to you that sometimes the mistakes we make end up being the things that give our children the little quirks and the little idiosyncrasies that make them them. So if we did everything right and kids didn't grow strengths in certain areas and develop coping skills and defense mechanisms, they wouldn't perhaps be the people that they are meant to be or get into the areas that they want to get into. It affects how you're raised, affects everything. The good, the bad, everything makes each person unique. So it's important that there's mistakes made on both sides. I think what I want to get through to you guys is two things. One, how important it is that you feel confident, that you feel good about yourself as parents, because I think that is a huge ingredient. And the second thing is to teach you about how important repairing after a mistake is. In fact, I think it's the biggest opportunity for you to do some real work with your kids. So not to harp on too much about this, but the first thing I wanted to say was about the confidence thing. And that's, I think, when we make mistakes, when we react and when we do things that we don't like that we've done, but we couldn't really do anything different because of how we were in the moment. For instance, maybe you reacted to your child behaving in a certain way and you lashed out at them, or you missed something, or these things happen. You forgot to put something in their bag. You forgot lunch for them that day, or, and you rack yourself in guilt and you berate yourself in your head and you criticize yourself. And we spend so much time putting that energy into all that negative stuff, into what we should have done. We forget that that's not where our energy should go at all, and no matter how bad it is, children are so resilient. They bounce back. The better you handle it, the better you confront it and attend to it, the better they bounce back. But regardless of whether you attend to it or not, children find ways to cope. They do. We don't like the idea of them running around unguided or in any kind of discomfort. But life's not going to be that way. We do need to get a bit of a balance of teaching them the toughness of life, that life isn't always fair, that you don't always get your own way, that mum and dad are human, that the world doesn't revolve around them. So it's a bit of a balance, trying to shelter them from the cruel, harsh world that we live in, but it's also your job to start preparing them and helping them to be independent. And so some of that does involve mistakes on your part. Some of it does involve trial and error, getting to know your child, because they're a person, they're an individual that you have to get to know. And they have to get to know themselves in the process too. And this is how we learn. It's, as I said in the beginning, it's that give and take of information. So I wanted to maybe try and explain it in a different way that you might understand. And what I do as a counselor, this is my area that I can probably give you a good example in. So most of you know the process of counseling, and you go to see a psychologist or a counselor or psychiatrist or family support worker or someone that you go to get some help from. And you go there to be vulnerable, to talk about your problems. Maybe you don't feel comfortable talking to other people, but whatever it is, whatever you go to get help with is very important. A lot's riding on you getting a lot out of this process, and it requires a lot of trust, and not just trust in the process, but trust in the counselor. But as an adult yourself, you know that you're working with another human being. And so somewhere along the line, you've got to trust not only a human being, but a stranger with all your intimate details. And it's a frightening thing thinking, what if they make a mistake? Let me tell you, as a counselor, it is even more frightening. When you start out as a counselor, we all hold back so much because we're terrified of making a mistake. And as you start getting into it, and as you start having more and more supervision with someone who's teaching you, and a guide, supervision and counseling, you have a more experienced counselor that you talk to about all your cases, and they help you. And through that, and teaching you and guiding you through it, you start to grow as a counselor, and you start to realize that it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. It's how you repair it. And we use the word repair, a relationship repair in counseling. So you get something wrong, or you go into an area that the person wasn't ready to go into, or something. Stop, pause, think, same as a parent would. Okay, this has happened. I can't really take it back right now. Right, how can I make this therapeutic? How can I make this work as a parent? How can I make this educational? How can I use this to teach my child? That's where you need to be putting that energy, not in the I should have done this, and if I hadn't had this, or maybe if this child wasn't going sick or whatever, maybe I would have attended better here. We are so stretched as parents. You guys are running around thinking of a million things, taking care of a million things. Most people have other stresses, not just the kids. I don't know many who don't worry about finances, or worry about, are they going to be able to afford to go on holiday? If you're in a country that's got political strife, there's all sorts of things going on. You might have a loss in the family. Things happen, and you can't always be expected to be on your game. And nor should you. And so if you're going through things, don't try and be the hero here. Don't try and be everything, because you can't be. And you don't want to teach your children that you have to be perfect. That's the last thing you want to do. You want to teach your children a healthy relationship with mistakes. And that means you guys have to be okay with making mistakes as parents as well. And being kinder to yourselves, and knowing that this is a feeling the water thing, and that the main ingredient you need is love, and you take it from there. And where you feel you need support, ask for support. Where you feel that, that doesn't fit for me, you're the best expert. Just be aware. Just understand what you're doing. Understand yourself. Be kind to yourself. And do everything that you do to the best of your ability. And if you've done your best, that's okay. If it's not perfect, be kind, be gentle, and your kids will appreciate that. They can pick up if you are angry at yourself and angry at the situation. That's probably more damaging than the mistake you made. So work on your confidence. That's my message. Work on building yourself up. Work on feeling better about yourself as a human being, doing the best that you can. Remember to look at all the strengths in your child, because those will remind you of all the things you're doing right. And I promise you, there are heaps and heaps of things that you're doing right. Every milestone that your child makes, learning to talk, walk, drawing, making friends, saying something that you didn't think that was in their capability, growing teeth, all those developmental milestones, all that coming into their own. Big pat on the back. You've had a large part in that. All the ingredients were there. So relax. It's going to be okay. You just need to do the best that you can do. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. Hope the week ahead goes well. Bye.